setting for the Air Force. South Africa's Air Force is the premier South African Air Force base. We can't have any Tom, Dick, and Harry running in and out there. And we can't have the Guptas coming for a wedding, landing there. That there, day and night, that military Air Force base should be studying the air, the skies of South Africa. No aeroplane coming from any direction may come into South African airspace without the Air Force knowing where it comes from, who is in that plane, what are they coming to do here. If we don't know, we commandeer that thing and tell it where to stop and go and check who's in there, what are they carrying, where are they taking it to, and so on. But we seem to have a security cluster that is sleeping day and night, which is why Bushiri can run in here with his girlfriends and wives and whatnot with 15 passports. What is our security people doing? And comrades, all the people studying in schools, we must educate our children to know that we are a country called South Africa. We are all the time in danger of being attacked by other countries if we clashed with them. If the other countries felt that we threaten them, they can attack us. And therefore, that's why we have a defense force. That's why we take taxpayers' money, train young men and women as members of the Navy, members of the Air Force, landward forces, the Army, medical section. We train those young people in this way and whatnot, and educate them in the most advanced military equipment, so that they can defend our country if it is attacked by nations which have hostile intentions to us. It's important for all South Africans, black, white, whatever you call them, they must all know this, that they are in danger. And we call it the defense force, because it's a force not to attack others, but to defend us. But our defense force must be awake. It must be fit. It must be well equipped. It must study and follow all the military techniques and all of that, so that it can use that knowledge to defend the people of South Africa. Now we have little Bushiri coming in here and messing up with our country. Some Mrs. Bushiri telling us we must change the prosecution. Who is he to tell South Africans who must be the prosecutor in a court case? We are not. Our government must really wake up to this responsibility. We must make sure that this is so. Because today, because there's peace, it looks like there's nothing. And one other thing, Chairperson, I just want to mention. My dear South Africans, we must forget about this thing, that we are all South Africans, we all are one and everything. There's nothing like that. The reason there is borders between us and Mozambique, the reason there's borders between us and Nigeria, between us and Ethiopia and so on, is because we are two different nations. And sometimes the interests of two different nations can collide with each other. That's how wars have been fought. That's why organizations you have like the United Nations Organization, the African Union, and so on. They are intended on a daily basis to manage relations between the countries. But it will not always be like that. That's why at some point there was the First World War. That's why there was the Second World War. That is why there are wars in the Middle East as we speak today. And that's why there are wars in various regions of the world. Because neighbors clash and neighbors fight. And when they fight, there's nothing, there's no quota given. So it will not always be like this. It will not always be peace and then you can go and play soccer and all of that. It's not always like that. And that is why we need to make sure that we educate South Africans to understand what human nature is made of. And so, right now, Bushiri is gone to his country. He's there. I don't know if comrades know, but what I know is that he was the biggest sponsor of the election campaign of the present president of that country. I'm not saying anything more than to say that that's a factual thing. It's like that. So we have now to think very carefully. What is all this saying to us? Our security cluster must work. The other clusters must also work. The comrades who are in the diplomatic missions and all of that, foreign affairs, is diplomacy. Always to try and discuss and find ways and so on. But diplomacy fails now and then. It fails. Because when people are angry, they change their attitude. And then you find suddenly that you have to resort to other means to defend yourself. We really need a big, big discussion. And comrades are right that we need to get the whole of these clusters. We must get the cluster, first of all, the security cluster. I do think that we must sit with the security cluster and tell them, you can't let people walk in and out of Johannesburg or Tambo, getting passports and whatnot and so on and things. And in each and every department, home affairs, foreign affairs, defense, security, we, all of us, must make sure that only the right people are there. That there at Waterkloof Air Force Base, nobody lands there who's not supposed to land there. There's only one person that can give an order for people to come and land there and whatnot. Is the president of the country, the commander-in-chief. And even he, the Constitution requires him, if he has deployed the armed forces, he must come to Parliament and say to Parliament, for these reasons and that reasons and that reasons, I've sent so many soldiers to that country with so many weapons, with so many cannons, with so many that and so on. He must do that because he must account for his actions.